Hello, section 14.2, measures of central tendency. We are going to look at three things here. We're looking for where the center of the data lies. We could describe it by using the mean, or maybe the median, or perhaps the mode. Each of those three are used in different situations and tend to describe the data better in some situations. And then we're going to look at stem and leaf plots, how to create them. Also, let's do some analysis on the data once we see it in a stem and leaf plot. So first thing I want to do is go through arithmetic mean by using the book's presentation of the formula. So a couple things that may be new for you. That's what you're seeing here. X bar is what this is read as. X bar, which will represent mean, and we will be using that all throughout the chapter. X bar is equal to, let's focus on what I have shown here in that green box. A summation symbol, Greek symbol, capitalized, and it says, let I start at 1 and finish when it gets to n. This I equals 1 acts kind of as a counting device for us. We're going to walk through and sum things up for as many times as it takes, letting I be 1 the first step through, and I'll add something. The next time through, I would let I be 2, and I would look at adding some more stuff up, 3. And when I finally reach the end, or the value of n, that's when I know I'm done summing things up. So this little formula talks about summing all the x's, or x sub 1 plus x sub 2 plus x sub 3, all the way out till we get to x sub n. And we would just do this addition of all the pieces of data. Well, it's something that you've been doing for quite a long time, calculating the mean. This is just a very formal way of writing it. So we're going to sum up all the data pieces, and then we're going to divide by n the number of pieces that were in our data set. And that's what 1 over n is going to achieve. Multiplying by 1 over n is the same as dividing by n. So there's kind of some explanation of that formula that looks a little more complicated. Finding the mean, X bar, median, and mode. I would imagine that you're pretty familiar with how to do this. One of the first things I would do is probably organize my data pieces and get them in the right order. So I want to walk through, though, using the graphing calculator as a means of doing this. So let's just go through that again. I've got data in list 2 that I want to keep in there, but if you have data in your list, oh, maybe I should go through how we got there. Hit your stat button, edit, and that gets us into the list. Go up into list 1, hit clear and enter, and it'll clear out your data. Let's load up the data. 15, 27, 5, 31. I hope you have your calculator. 19, 22, and our final data piece is 20. Okay, so I have all my data loaded. And there's a really easy way to allow the calculator to organize data for you. If you go back into stat, there's this second option that says sort by ascending. I want to sort this ascending, meaning from least to greatest. I need to tell it what to sort, and if you look above the number 1 key, it says list 1. So if you click on your green button or blue button with the number 1, you will get list 1. If I hit enter, it will tell me it's done. Now if I go back into stat, edit, and look at my data, it is all nicely organized. Looks like I had an extra piece of data. I've got a number 1 in there, huh? And there is no number 1. So we are going to just kind of write down what we're seeing on the calculator that's organized for us. 5, 15, 19, 20, 22, 27, and 31. 7 pieces of data, all nicely organized. Now, you know how to do mean. I could take and add 5 plus 15 plus 19 plus 20 plus 22 plus 27 plus 31 and take all of that and divide it by the 7 pieces of data, and that would give me my X bar or mean. But also your calculator will calculate that for you if you'd like it to. Looks like I'm missing number 31. I'm going to get that in here real quick. All right, so go back into stat, hit calculate, one variable statistics, hit enter, and it will produce it for you. So you'll notice that we are getting, I'm going to bring that out. We've got data that shows X bar at 19.9. So I've got X bar coming in at 19.9. Another thing you see right here is the sum of the data is 139. And that should be, if you added all those up, that should end up being 139. Next, let's look at doing the median. Most people remember the median. The median is the middle value. So arrange your data from least to greatest. If there are 2 numbers in the middle, you're going to find the arithmetic mean. So you may want to hit pause so you can jot that down, the median. So our median, if I just kind of work my way in, 5 and 31, 27, 15, 19 and 22, it appears to me the median is 20, the middle value. Lastly, let's look at the mode. What does mode do for us? Well, mode is the value that occurs the most. Let's see if I can get that on there. Occurs the most often, can be more than one mode, and also there could be no mode. So keep that in mind. On ours, if we go into looking at our data, I don't see any value that's been repeated. So for this particular one, we actually have no mode. And the word bimodal refers to the fact that you could have 2 modes. There also could be 3 modes as well. Stem and leaf plots. A stem and leaf plot's a quick way to organize a large amount of data. So if I'm looking at this data presented in this block of numbers here, it'd be nice to organize those. So here's what you're seeing is a stem and leaf plot. The stem represents the greatest common place value. So if I look at all my data, I notice I do have one number that has a hundreds position, but no other data has that. So then I look at the next one, tens position, everything has a tens position. So this stem is going to be representing tens. And then my leaves, they're going to be representing the 1-digit number. Those should always be a single digit. Arranging them from least to greatest, you notice how it goes and gets larger as you go out. So it's very easy to see if there's repeated numbers and actually quite easy to pick up the mode off these. Let's work through actually doing one. So I'd like you to take your calculator and key in all these numbers. There's 27 data pieces. Get them into your calculator and then get started back up. I'm going to make this a medium size. All right. So I'm going to hit clear because that was from my last data. You've gone into stat, hit edit, and you've loaded up your data. I'm going to clear out list 1 so we don't have to look at that. Now, list 2, I've already loaded my data, 51, 53, 60, 63, and so on. I would love to get that organized. And remember how to do that? Hit stat, stat, sort ascending, descending if you wish, and I'm going to go second and number 2 for me because my data is in list 2. Yours might be in list 1, in which case you want list 1 showing. It tells me it's done. I go back into stat and edit, and there now my data is nicely organized, which will make it nice when we're doing our stat plot here. So we want to fill in our leaf as leaves as well as our stem. If I look at the data, I notice they have tens position in common. Our lowest value appears to be a 50. So I'm going to make my stem a 5, a 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. The leaves will be organized according to how they occur. And I just lost my calculator, didn't I? And I will tend to lose that. So you walk through and fill in all the leaves. All right, let's walk through this. 51, 53, 60, 63, 63, 69, 99, 70, 70, 71, 71, 77, 80, 80, 81, 83, 84, 84, 89, 89, 91, 91, 93, 97, and then 100. Very important that you put a legend. So if I just grabbed, you can grab any of them that you want. I'll grab 83. So 8/3, a stem of 8, leaf of 3, results in the number 83. Also should have a title. Now, median, mean, and mode. The mean, since you have all the data in the calculator, let the calculator do the work on this. Hit stat, calculate, one variable statistics, and I'm getting, oh, I know what my problem is. I need to go stat, calculate. When I go into my one variable statistics, I've got to tell it that my data sits in list 2. And there I go. So yours will be fine if you have it in list 1. My X bar is 77.7. Hopefully yours is too. Look for your median. Well, if you take your calculator and scroll down, there's more data. We're going to start getting into blocks and whisker plots, but right here shows the median. So the median actually is 80, or the middle number. If you want to count back, you could definitely do that. And I could do that by going one off the least, one off the greatest, one off the least, one off the greatest, one least, one greater, one least, one greater, one least, one greater. And we should find, let's just keep doing this, that we should zone in on 80. Still, 80 is our median. Mode. Well, which one occurs the most? I'm looking at 999. That occurs 3 times. Any others bigger? Zeros occur twice, 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 twice. Looks like this threesome occurs the most. So the mode occurs at 69. What percent of the data is greater than 89? So I want data greater than 89. That would include all of the 90s as well as those 2 100 pieces of data. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data. 6 out of a grand total of, and I never, was it 27? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 out of 27. 6 out of 27 pieces of data. What is that as a percent? 6 divided by 27. 22% of the data is greater than 89. Very easy to use these to do some analysis. Well, that's all that there is, you guys. We're going to do some homework, and then we'll start this up next round.